Does your life satisfy you? If you're watching videos like this, then probably not. The most absurd thing in our lives is that we know what and how we should be doing, but we don't. We know what it takes to succeed, but something inside us is holding us back. We sabotage ourselves and limit ourselves. But this is the paradox. We certainly want the best for ourselves, yet we take happiness away from ourselves. Who taught us to limit ourselves, and why? There aren't that many good things in the world, and there isn't enough for everyone, so they shoved a whole set of programs and algorithms into your head, ones that you follow. It started when you were very young and continues to this day, and unfortunately, we often become victims of someone else's limitations instead of following our true desires. We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Buddha. This is incredibly important to understand because everything we experience starts from our inner world. If we constantly feel uncertain, doubtful, or fearful, these emotions shape our lives even when we don't want them to. How we relate to the world and to ourselves determines what we do and what we get. True freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want, but the ability to do what needs to be done. John Stuart Mill. True freedom is when you realize that your limitations are just illusions that you created in your own mind. Acknowledge this and tell yourself, everything I knew, everything I based my life on was imposed on me. It wasn't my choice. But since this happened to me, now it's my responsibility, and I decide what to do next. I will try to free you from 5 thought patterns that keep you in very narrow limits. Everything I will share has been learned through personal experience, and I've seen how it affects people who have not paid attention to their thinking patterns. Point 1. Focus on long-term goals. Here's the rule. Long-term goals should be inflated, and short-term goals should be deflated. People overestimate what they can do in a day and completely underestimate what they can achieve in a year. You've convinced yourself that you will do 15 tasks tomorrow, and your body imagines how hard that will be, and it feels bad. It won't give you energy and enthusiasm. And even if you do complete those 15 tasks, the next week you'll end up lying in bed and won't be able to do anything. We build our plans based on the idea that we will be in the best shape and at peak productivity all day. But that's not the reality. It's hard to admit that you're not a robot. Pride doesn't allow you to admit that tomorrow you can only do 2 or 3 things, and the rest will be a form of self-sabotage. Here's the recipe. If you do just 1 task a day towards your goal, in a year you'll have done 365 tasks. Most people don't even do 365 tasks in their lifetime that are directed toward their goal. Stop heroically overloading yourself and set yourself up for gradual work. Do 1 thing a day and do whatever you want. Rest, play computer games, watch TV shows, but get that 1 thing done. Since quick achievements are often temporary, real success lies in focusing on more significant long-term goals, even when progress feels slow. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. This quote emphasizes that when setting long-term goals, we must be ready for the fact that not everything will happen quickly and smoothly. The long road to the goal is often accompanied by failures, but the ability to keep moving forward despite obstacles is what makes us stronger and more successful in the end. No matter how long it takes to achieve a goal, the most important thing is resilience and unwavering commitment to reaching it. Lao Tzu. This quote highlights the importance of patience and perseverance in achieving long-term goals. Often people give up on their dreams because they feel the achievement is too far off or too difficult. But these qualities, resilience and the ability to focus on the end goal, are what ultimately lead to success. Focusing on long-term goals is not just a strategy for success. It's a lifestyle that allows us to find true satisfaction and meaning in our work. It's a path that requires patience, discipline, and resilience, but the reward will not only be the achievement of the goal, but also personal growth along the way. Point 2, the concept of personal responsibility. Remember, you are responsible for everything that happens in your life. You're not always to blame, but it is your responsibility because it happened to you. Only you can clean up your mess, and no one else. If someone spilled coffee on your shirt, it's not your fault, but it happened to you, and now you have to live with it. Wash the shirt, change clothes, spend the time. Nobody will do it for you, even though you're not to blame and didn't choose it. This is where courage lies. Accepting the challenges of life that you would prefer to avoid. Responsibility is not just an obligation. It's the power that allows us to control our reality instead of being passive observers. You have the right to be who you want to be, and you can only achieve this through taking responsibility for your actions. George Bernard Shaw. This quote points out that our possibilities are limited only by how willing we are to take responsibility for our decisions and actions. Without this willingness, we limit ourselves in our achievements and personal growth. But this doesn't mean blaming ourselves for every failure. It means being ready to admit that even in difficult situations, we always have a choice: how to react and what to do next. Responsibility is about owning up to our mistakes and the lessons that come with them, without excuses or blaming others. It's also about learning from our mistakes, not letting them define our future. You can't change the circumstances, but you can change your reaction to them. Viktor Frankl. This quote perfectly highlights the idea that much of life is beyond our control, but we always have the ability to choose how we respond to it. Taking responsibility for our reactions gives us the power and control over our lives. Point 3, accepting change. Understand that what was will no longer be. If something stopped working, unfortunately, you'll have to change something, no matter how painful it may be. What has outlived its purpose must be discarded. Otherwise, the process of decay will begin, and your outdated beliefs that you don't want to throw away will poison you. The only constant in our lives is change. Herodotus. This quote emphasizes that change is an inseparable part of our existence. Every day brings something new, and if we're not ready for change, we risk being left behind. Acceptance gives us the chance not only to adapt to new conditions, but to actively use them for our development. Don't be afraid of the changes that bring improvement. Sometimes changes are difficult, but they are necessary to reach the next level. Joanna Gaines. This quote underscores the importance of embracing change as a necessary part of our growth. Changes may be uncomfortable or even painful, but they provide us with the opportunity to grow and become better. We must understand that we can't stay in one place. To grow, we need to embrace and adapt to change. Accepting change is not only about adaptation, it's about using it to your advantage. It's understanding that change is a chance for growth, that it allows us to become stronger and wiser. The sooner we accept new circumstances, the sooner we can use them to achieve our goals and realize our dreams. Point 4, changing our attitude toward failure. Imagine you're playing Battleship. There are 100 squares, and under one of them is a ship that needs to be destroyed. Before you hit the ship, you'll need to make a certain number of attempts. Maybe 2, maybe 99, but you will definitely and absolutely hit the ship if you make 100 attempts. There is no other way. Luck might smile upon you, or it might not, but with 100 attempts, victory is guaranteed. This is how life works. You don't know how many squares there are, but your victory is inevitable if you make enough attempts and don't give up. If we stop seeing failed attempts as losses and start using them as sources of experience, the results will be astounding. Failure is not something to be afraid of. It's something to embrace as an opportunity to learn and grow. Winston Churchill. Imagine that every failure is not a collapse, but a chance to get feedback from life, test yourself, and become stronger. If we saw failures as lessons, they would no longer have power over us. They would just be part of our growth. Don't be afraid of mistakes. You either win or you learn. John Wooden. Wooden, the famous coach, is absolutely right. Just imagine how much we could achieve if we stopped fearing mistakes and saw every one of them as an opportunity to become better. Instead of wasting time on self-blame, we could learn and move forward. And that is far more powerful than staying stuck in the shadow of fear. Failures don't destroy us. They can only help us become who we're meant to be. And when we stop fearing mistakes, we open ourselves up to new opportunities. So next time something goes wrong, remember, you either win or you learn, and that's already a win. Point 5. More gratitude. Think about your ancestors. Behind you are thousands of relatives who survived in this world. This connection stretches across millennia. You are a descendant of the strongest, because the weak died from diseases, were killed by tigers, and faced many other dangers. That means the strength that flows through you has been passed down through the generations. Recognize this and thank those who brought you into this world, because it wasn't an easy road for them. If we truly begin to appreciate everything we have, even in the hardest moments, life will immediately become lighter. Gratitude is not just a word or a habit, it's a superpower. It changes our perspective on the world, helping us see beauty even in the simplest things. Maybe you didn't get what you wanted, but perhaps you already have more than you think. And sometimes it's gratitude that can change everything. It's not what we have, but what we are grateful for that makes us rich. Charles Spurgeon. This is the key to the magic of life. True wealth is not in what you have, but in how capable you are of appreciating what you already have. If we stop and look at the world with gratitude, we will realize we have so much more than we thought. Gratitude is not just an emotion, it's a way of life. James Allen. Every day gives us the opportunity to practice gratitude. When we start seeing every moment as a gift, every person as a blessing, our lives change. It's not about the big things, but the little miracles that we often miss. And if we learn to be grateful, it will give us strength and joy in every step. Gratitude doesn't just change our moods, it changes our lives. It's not about grand gestures, it's about simple acts of acknowledgement. For people, for moments, for everything we already have. Gratitude is not just a habit, it's a lifestyle that opens new horizons and gives us true happiness. Life is not just a series of random events. It's a journey where we decide where we're going, taking personal responsibility, focusing on long-term goals, accepting change, changing our attitude toward failure, and gratitude. These are the tools that will help us create a life we can truly be proud of. And if this video was helpful to you, subscribe to the channel. I truly appreciate each of you, and through this channel, I'm sharing my personal experiences because my goal is to help you become the best version of yourself. Your improvement is my improvement, and together we can move forward. But remember, all these changes start with you. Your attitude toward life changes only when you decide that you deserve more. Life gives you the opportunity to choose in every moment. And if you start choosing responsibility, growth, and gratitude, you will create a path for yourself full of meaning and fulfillment. We cannot change the direction of the wind, but we can adjust our sails to reach our destination. Jim Rohn. This is your path. Start now. Do one thing.